Today, I want to talk about a man who carries a mother wound. Now, a mother wound simply refers to the unresolved emotional scars that stem from our experience or our relationship with our mother. Men and women can, of course, both have mother wounds, but today I'm going to focus on a man who suffers with one. Now, of course, these wounds can come from a whole bunch of different experiences in our childhood. We might have had a mother that was smothering, that typical helicopter parent, always there, always available, always trying to solve our problems. Or on the other end of that spectrum, we might have had a mother who was distant, not available for physical care, for emotional care. It could also be a mother who was too critical, always shaming, always judging, or even a mother who relies on a child as a surrogate partner, sharing too much, relying too much, things that are emotionally inappropriate for a child of that age. Now, the relationship that a man has with his mother shapes his sense of self, who he feels himself to be, how he shows up in his relationships and in the world around him. It also influences how he treats his future partners, his romantic partners, his friendships. It impacts how he shows up in his relationships. Now, many men don't realize how deeply this relationship with their mother has affected them. And they may not understand that it doesn't just remain in the past in childhood. It actually shows up in their present day relationships right here and right now. So let's dive into what happens when a man carries a mother wound, but when they aren't aware of it. Now, first, it's important to acknowledge we all have, male, female, however you identify, we all as humans have a biological need for attunement and for nurturing. And when a young boy doesn't receive this from his mother, the desire for that care doesn't just simply go away. He might suppress the fact that he even has needs or wants nurturing care, but that need is still there. So what does it do instead? It transforms into a longing, a deep desire, sometimes something that they can't even put into words, but it's a longing for those same nurturing qualities in his romantic relationships. So this dynamic, we all need nurture in relationships to repeat, but this dynamic can become dysfunctional when we are over-reliant on someone else as an adult to meet our needs or to care for us. Because our adult romantic relationships aren't actually meant to serve as maternal bonds. And when this subconscious need to be mothered continues, it can create significant problems in any relationship. So now let's talk about some signs that a man may have a mother wound. The first sign of a possible mother wound are struggles with authority or feeling controlled. Don't like being told what to do, overreact, maybe even get into arguments or conflicts with those that are seen as authority figures. Another sign of a possible mother wound is a difficulty with emotional intimacy. Struggle to be vulnerable, struggle to even know or share what their feelings, and a struggle to receive or to hear what someone else might be experiencing. Another sign of a possible mother wound is a pattern of dysfunctional relationships with women. And this pattern can be one of two extremes. It can be distance in relationships, emotionally unavailable, physically unavailable, always at work. Or the other end, it can be emotionally reactive, emotionally explosive. Another sign of a possible mother wound in a man is a deep fear of abandonment. Always worrying about being left, always being perceived as being left, always waiting for that person to abandon. Another sign of a possible mother wound in a male is a general trouble trusting women. A lot of times the reason we're not sharing emotions is because we don't trust that person. So we keep our feelings close inside. And finally, sign of a mother wound in a male could be a fear of commitment. Again, they're avoidant. They go from relationship to relationship without actually committing. Or again, on the other hand, They might be overly anxious in relationships, overly clingy, struggle with any sort of space, want commitment, too fast, too quick. Now, if a man is aware of these issues, it opens the door to healing. A beautiful, transformative experience that can be really positive. With awareness, we can create change. We give ourselves the opportunity to break these habits and these patterns. But the challenge arises when a man is unaware that they even have these wounds and when they are unwilling to address them, not willing to take responsibility, not willing to hear or receive how someone else experiences us, and then not willing to do anything to change. And when this is the case, this man will struggle to care for his partner because his subconscious mind expects that he is the one to receive care, that he will be the one that is mothered. A part of him in reality is stuck as an unhealed little boy, still craving the nurturing that he didn't receive, though that he deserved from his mom. Now, this feeling can be compounded if he has had a domineering or a controlling father, right? Making this wound even deeper. Someone who desperately needed nurturing, safety, care, did not get it. That wound cuts deep. So what then does this lead to? Mother wounds in men often lead to, understandably, a lot of suppressed anger. When any of us as humans aren't getting our needs met, we feel understandably, naturally angry. You might notice this anger, flashes of it in his reactions. He could become overly explosive, sometimes seemingly out of nowhere. When we're so overwhelmed, sometimes what we do is not explode outward, we instead shut down. We get distant, we get cold, we get a faraway look in our eyes, and you might notice that as a byproduct of this deep anger. It's simply too overwhelming, so I've shut down, and this is now why you are experiencing me in the distant way that you are. The reality is this anger has been building beneath the surface for years. So now all of this overwhelming anger, this man then has the expectation that it is his partner's role to fix it, to soothe it, to nurture this emotion away, just as we expected our mother and relied on our mother to do that in childhood. But here is the truth. Healthy adults, secure adults take full responsibility for all of their emotions. They don't expect others to take away their pain, to heal or to soothe their emotional struggles, nor do they blame other people for how they feel. They might communicate and see the role that someone else played in an emotional reaction that they are having, but they don't give the responsibility or the cause solely over to that person. Because for all of us as children, these men included, it was his mother's role to teach him how to manage his emotions, how to co-regulate, being there available to soothe him when he needed it so that over time he could learn not only how to soothe himself, but how to co-regulate or to soothe, be emotionally available for another person. And it is not, nor has it ever been, his adult partner's responsibility to teach him those things. Some of you might notice, if you are in a relationship or have been with a man with a mother wound, you might notice that when you express your own needs, your partner might see them as a threat. He might become eruptive, explosive when you even mention that you need something from him. He might remind you of all the different things that he's done for you. And you might even notice these flashes, as we talked about earlier, of irrational anger come to the surface. Again, anger that has been stored up for years of unresolved feelings that he has had toward his mother. But in this moment, when you ask for a need to be met or even acknowledge that you have an unmet need, all of that emotion gets projected onto you. So rather than being an equal partner, he regresses into seeing you as a substitute mother figure. Now again, the truth is, for all of you listening, you are not responsible to be someone else's emotional caretaker. It is not your responsibility to teach someone how to process their own emotions. This is his work. This is all of our work to do to heal. Now, I shared all of this information recently on Instagram, and so many people resonated with it because they see this pattern in their own relationships. So I'm hoping that you listening now might gain some insight if you do and have experienced a partnership, a friendship even, with a man with a mother wound. And I hope you truly understand that it is not your responsibility to heal, nor can you, any person that carries a mother wound, especially if they're not aware of it, and especially if they're not willing to work on it. So I'd love to hear from you listening. Are you in a relationship with a man with a mother wound? I would love to hear your experience left in the comments below.